Yung host lang pwede. Thank you, Christine. Okay. So I'll just monitor yung ating chat. Maaraw pa sa Malabon. Yesterday nasa Diliman ako, medyo umuulan ng paunti-unti, pero well, hindi naman ganun kagat. But it's better than lubog tayo sa baha, ano. All right, so good afternoon again, everybody. So I hope kayanin ng ating mga internet connection, ano? All right, so we'll do the lecture today online, and it will be about basic limit theorems. So the assumption here is, well, last week, I guess we already started talking about the epsilon delta definition. I gave you, I think nakapag-example ako ng isang linear and then pinrove natin, tama nga ba? Ang limit ng constant ay constant o sa sequences yan. I think that's for sequences, ano? But I think we covered one example of a proof of the limit of a linear function. And then you watch a video about how to evaluate or to prove limits of linear functions and quadratic functions. So any questions about that? Though nagtanong na ako kanina, mukhang wala pa naman kayong mga tanong, ano? So sabi ko nga dati, nung undergraduate ako, sinasaulo ko lang yung flow ng proof. Ano? You see, you look at the pattern and not necessarily thinking very deeply about how it works. Ano? Pero that is, I think, the first step. That you need to familiarize yourself how proofs are being written kahit na nagsisimula ka sa pagsunod lamang dun sa pattern na ginawa in a previous proof. Ano? So, but we will not dwell too much on the theoretic or on the proofs of this thing. Siguro, well, kung may 100%, I want you guys to to focus 80% on how to evaluate limits, and then just the 20% would be for you to appreciate the proofs, ano? Kasi we don't expect that you will get the proofs 100% at this point kasi hindi pa kayo nagma-math 101. And I think once you have the logic requirement, I mean the formal training on logic na nasa Math 101, you'll be better equipped to do the proof. So ngayon, there would be times I'll be showing you proofs, pero parang 20% lang yan na gusto kong matutunan nyo. The 80% is how to evaluate limits. And we'll start talking about how to compute limits by proving basic limit theorems and seeing them in action, how they are applied to certain scenarios. All right? So patayin ko na muna yung camera ko. If you have questions, you can just raise your hand or gamitin ang inyong paboritong emoji or pwede rin sa chat or pwede rin naman mag-unmute na lang kayo ano, para mas mabilis and then you can interrupt me as I do the discussion. All right? So whenever you have questions. Okay, so let's start. So we'll look at this is actually section or unit 3.2 na section 2 na sa unit 2, and we'll be talking about basic limit theorems. So basic limit theorems. So this basic limit theorems, of course, when we say theorem, siguro ngayon alam nyo na pag sinabing theorem, ito ay something that will require a proof. Now, these are not just theoretical tools, pero sila ay ginagamit din pag compute kasi ito yung mga you can say shortcuts o ito yung mga formulas na pwede nating i-apply. Pero sa math nga, meron tayong meta-axiom of ignorance. You know only what is previously defined or what was previously proven. So siguro yung ilan sa kanila i-prove natin, pero ang focus nga natin ay paano sila ina-apply. Alright? Pero kailangan na, gusto namin ma-expose kayo paano ba nag-work ito or bakit natin siya ginagamit. Kasi most of the training a math major has will not just be on how to solve a problem, but bakit nag-work yung mga methods na ginagamit natin to solve certain problems, right? So for this lecture, our goals are to prove and apply basic limit theorems. And yeah, actually, yun lang pala for today kasi I'll have to dismiss you 2 p.m. So let's try to prove and apply the basic limit theorems, right? So ano yung pinakaunang basic limit theorem? So, theorem, nagda-number ba tayo sa theorem? Hindi, no? So, just for the sake of today's discussion, ano? So, lagyan natin sila ng number para madali silang i-refer. But you don't need to refer to them with numbers, ano? Siguro, lalagyan ko lang siya ng number for today para maituro ko kayo by theorem number 1. Yun yung ginamit ko para sa step na to sa solution. But when you are writing your own solutions, you don't need to cite the specific theorems, alright? So ako na lang yung gagawa nun ngayon para makita nyo uh, para ma-retrace nyo. Pag ni-review nyo yung notes nyo, kung makikita nyo kung paano siya nag-work or saan ang galing yung ganong, yung ganong step dun sa solution. Okay? So let's start. I think the most basic is the limit of a constant function as x approaches any number a. Any guesses? Ano ang limit ng isang constant function as x approaches any number in its domain? Sige, buhay yung ating incentive para sa magre-recite online. And daya pala, no? Kasi pwede kayong mag-chat na lang, ano? So, sige na nga. Mahirap pala. Mahirap pala magpa-bonus. Sorry naman. So what I see, Aaron, Desaline, and Pia are raising their hands. Sige, Aaron, what do you think is the answer? What is the limit of C as X approaches A?
Siren pa.
Siren, thank you. That's perfect. As well as thank you, Christine and Ian on the chat who said, yeah, it's C itself, right? Do kamukha to nung pinrove natin para sa limit ng sequence, right? But it makes sense kasi ano bang graph ng constant function? So, ang graph ng constant function ay isang horizontal line, tama? So, ito yung graph ng constant function, y equals c. Halimbawa, ito si a. Whether you approach a from the left or you approach it from the right, the value na nilalapitan ng mga function values habang palapit ka ng palapit mula sa kanan at mula sa kaliwa ni a ay yung constant na c. Agree? So I don't think it's hard to imagine. So basically, yun yung dahilan kung bakit ang limit ng constant ay constant lamang. Well, the proof is very similar to how we did proof for sequences. Kasi medyo yung well, anong kailangan natin ngayon? Pag binigyan tayo ng epsilon, dapat may mahanap tayo na delta. So, yun lang yung problema natin. Yun lang yung requirement natin yun. So, when you are given an epsilon greater than zero, you want to find a delta greater than zero. Parang yung k na kailangan natin dati sa proof ng limit ng sequence. Alright? Now, so kung bibigyan ko kayo ng epsilon greater than zero, what do you think is the appropriate delta na pwede kong gamitin? All right, any answers? You can raise your hands or use the chat. Babantayan ko na lang kung sinong mauna. Ano, so, pero yung mga nag-recite kanina, tigo 1 point na kayo. So ngayon, first come, first serve naman. Either sa chat or sa mag-raise ng hand. Babantayan ko to. But what I'm asking is, if I write the proof, right? So remember, in the proof, you're always given an epsilon greater than zero. And to complete the proof, I need to find a delta greater than zero such that if the absolute value of x minus a is less than delta, we want the absolute value of f of x minus L to be less than epsilon. Yan yung kailangan natin, di ba? Nabigyan na ako ng epsilon greater than zero, ano dapat yung delta na pipiliin ko such that this if-then statement will be true? Any guess? Ano dapat yung delta? Kung tandaan nyo, dun sa proof natin ng sequence, anong pinili ko na K? Parang ganun din yung mangyayari dito para sa delta. So, gaano dapat kalayo si x mula kay A para yung f of x minus c maging less than epsilon? Kung hindi kaya ng i-mental, ay pwede naman mag-preliminary analysis, di ba? Or nawala ba ako? Parang natameme na kayo, no? May attempt si Desaline. Max of delta, well, ano yung delta? Kasi tinry mong i-parallelize dun sa ating ano, no? Sa ating ah, sa ating proof for the sequences. Medyo may twist pala ng konti, ano? Okay, so maybe I can give you some more hints, ano? Well, ano yung gusto natin? Remember, pag nagpa-preliminary analysis, given an epsilon greater than zero, we want to find, so we wish to find, naka-record tayo, so hindi ko gagamitin yung ating acronym, ano? So we wish to find a delta greater than zero such that if absolute value of x minus a is less than delta, then it should follow that f of x minus L is less than epsilon. All right? Yan yung gusto nating mangyari. But what is our f of x? F of x is the function being considered, and that is the constant function c. Tapos minus, what was the supposed limit? Sabi natin, ang limit ay si c, right? So, ibig sabihin, lalagay ko dito c minus c less than epsilon. Pero anong ibig sabihin ng statement na to? Ang ibig sabihin yan is that will be 0 less than epsilon. Tama? After you simplify. So, ibig sabihin pala, kahit ano pa yung delta na piliin mo, lagi na lang yung c minus c ay laging equal kay 0. So, lagi siyang less than epsilon. So actually, in this case, we can choose any positive real number delta kasi lagi na lang ang c minus c ay less than epsilon. Kasi ang epsilon natin ay greater than 0, ang c minus c ay laging less than epsilon. Kasi lagi siyang equal kay 0. Does that make sense? Eto na, mas mahirap ng tingnan kung nagigets nyo talaga, no? Kasi nakatago kayo dyan habang malamang nag-Netflix kayo dyan or nanonood kayo ng Blue Ribbon Committee meeting, ano? Alright, is that good? Or maybe it would be better if I write the formal proof. Kasi remember the formal proof, pag nag-preliminary analysis tayo, nagkakaroon tayo dito ng expression, right? Na nag-involve ng ilang mga constants and perhaps the variable. At gusto natin maisulat yung left-hand side to look like something like this para ma-compare natin ano dapat yung delta na i-compare natin sa epsilon. Pero in this particular case, we don't need to do that because here, yung left-hand side, yung f of x minus L ay laging equal kay 0. At pag 0 siya, sure tayo, siya ay less than epsilon palagi. Okay? Is that good? Alright, thank you, Desaline. Paano si Desaline na lang lagi yung nagre-react, no? Ayan, ayan na si Danica. Alright, saka si applicant. At sino yung may pasabog na puso? May mga pag ganun pa pala mga reacts na. Thank you guys. So maybe let's write the proof para mas makita nyo. Minsan kasi sa math, yung pinaka simple, yung mga pinaka obvious na statements, yung mga proofs na napaka simple, sila yung ang hirap isulat ng formal proof. Kasi parang napaka obvious nila bakit pa kailangang isulat. Alright, so here, pag binigyan ako ng epsilon greater than 0, we can take any value for delta as long as it is positive. Bakit? Since if ang absolute value ng x minus a less than delta, lagi na lang magpa-follow na ang c minus c ay less than epsilon. Kasi itong statement na to ay walang pakialam dun sa delta. Kasi lagi nang magze-zero yung c minus c, right? Yeah. That good? Kasi ito ay equal kay 0. So less than epsilon siya kasi si epsilon daw ay greater than 0. So itong f of x, remember this was f of x and this is L. So yung f of x minus L ay less than epsilon. So that is f of x minus L is always less than epsilon. Basically, that will end your proof. So therefore, limit ng c as x approaches a ay equal kay c. Kasi napakita natin na kahit ano pa, yung epsilon greater than 0, kahit anong delta na positive ay pwede. Right? Pero hindi laging ganito. Minsan namimili tayo kung ano yung delta. At yung nakita nyo na may minimum na mga delta, merong epsilon over m, and so on. Okay, good? So mga quick examples nito. Examples, ang limit ng ang limit ng 5 as x approaches 7 ay equal kay 5 pa rin, tama? Kasi constant function, ang limit ng constant function ay yung constant mismo, regardless of what the number a you're talking about. Halimbawa, limit ng 5 as x approaches -3. The answer is still 5. Kasi yung value ng f of x ay laging 5. So habang papalapit ka ng papalapit mula sa kaliwa at mula sa kanan ni -3, ang lagi mong lalapitan ay yung 5 pa rin, which is the actual function value. Okay? Good? So, wala masyadong tanong doon, no? So, ito, paano to? Sige, paunahan. Limit ng pi raised to e as x approaches 0. Ano sagot dyan? Bilis ni Adrian. Very good, Adrian. So that's pi raised to the e. Kasi constant lang naman yung pi raised to e, ano? So yun din yung kanyang limit. So no questions about that. So the lesson here, limit ng constant ay yung constant itself. All right, good. So we're ready for theorem number 2. Yung theorem number 2 ay limit ng ax plus b. Oops, sorry. As x approaches c ay equal kanino? Well, bago ako ng variables, ano, pero it doesn't matter, mga constant lang naman yan. Ito kasi yung usual na itsura ng mga linear functions. So, ang limit ng isang linear function as x approaches c ay what do you think happens? So, pwede nyo tingnan, okay, graphically, kasi nasanay tayo ng graphical, right? So, kung graphical yan, okay, ang graph lang naman ng ax equals b ay laging line. Tapos, alimbawa, ito si c. Okay, so ito yung x equals c. So, habang palapit ka ng palapit mula sa kaliwa ni c, ibig sabihin, nagta-travel ka, you ride the function, you approach c coming from the left, you are approaching this valley. Pag ikaw naman ay palapit ng palapit kay C mula sa kanan, sasakyan mo yung function, yung mga function values palapit din ng palapit sa point na to. But what is this point? This is the function value at C. Tama? So, pag papalapit ka ng papalapit kay C, yung x's ay palapit ng palapit kay C, yung f of x ay palapit ng palapit kay f of C. Pero saan equal yung f of C? Anyone? Anyone na wala pang... Yeah, thank you, Aaron. So AC plus B. That is actually the limit. So parang ano lang yung nangyari dito. Thank you, Georgette. That's also correct. Ano lang nangyari? Parang nag-plug in lang ako, no? Pinaltan ko lang yung X ng C. Nag-substitute, tama si Georgette. So parang ganun yung nangyari. Actually, that will be the scenario whenever we're dealing with nice functions, ano? Pero ano yung ibig sabihin ng nice functions? Malalaman natin yan when we go to the next section. Pero for nice functions such as linear functions, ang limit ay nagko-coincide sa function value. Pero I want to make this clear, hindi siya laging nangyayari. Okay? So here, the limit is AC plus B. Alright? So kaya babalikan nyo yung mga pinrove natin na linear function, kaya nakukuha yung limits nila, pina-plug in ko lang yung value ni A o kung saan man kung saan ko man gusto lumapit si X, yun lang yung pina-plug in ko dun sa function. Right? So if you do the preliminary analysis here, ano, so we want to find, so our goal is to find a delta such that if absolute value of x minus c ay less than delta, then ano gusto natin mangyari? We want f of x, which is ax minus b, minus the supposed limit. The supposed limit is ac plus b. We want this to be less than epsilon. Right? Ito yung ginagawa kong preliminary analysis. Kaya yung laser pointer lang yung ginagamit ko pagsusulat. Kasi nga, mabuburahin ko ito mamaya kasi gusto ko yung formal proof isulat. Right? Now, let's simplify what is on the left-hand side. So, if we do so, we'll get what? Absolute value ng AX minus AC na lang yung matitira less than delta. Okay? Good? Tapos, gusto kong may sulat siya na ganito yung itsura para kung ano man yung nasa left side, yun yung pipiliin kong delta. Right? So, gusto kong magkaroon dito ng ng x minus c. So, magkakaroon ako ng x minus c when I factor out the a. Tama? Kakaroon tayo ng absolute value ng a times x minus c less than delta. Sorry, less than epsilon pala. Sorry. So, gusto natin less than epsilon yung mga yan. Tapos, I can use properties of absolute value. Absolute value yan ng A times the absolute value ng x minus c less than epsilon. And then you see now, malapit na ako dun sa goal ko. Magkaroon ng absolute value ng x minus c dun sa left side. All I need to do is to divide both sides by the absolute value of a. So we'll have the absolute value ng x minus c is less than epsilon over absolute value ni a. And then remember, ito yung gusto ko kanina. Gusto kong mangyari ang x minus c ay maging less than delta. Pero alam ko, ang x minus c ay mas maliit sa epsilon over absolute value ni A. So what we will do is we will pick this guy. Oops, sorry. I'll pick this. I'll pick the epsilon over absolute value of A to be my delta. Okay. So in other words, here, if I write the formal proof for theorem 2, so again, I'll start with epsilon greater than 0. Then we take delta to be anything less than epsilon over absolute value ni A. Kasi ang problema natin, pag binigyan ka ng epsilon, kailangan mong humanap ng delta. Ang sinasabi ko sa proof na to galing sa aking preliminary analysis, kahit anong positive number ay pwede kong piliin as delta as long as it is less than epsilon over absolute value of A. Siguro pwede natin itong ilagay dito. Sabihin natin siya ay greater than 0 din. Okay? So, yan yung choice ng delta na nanggaling dun sa ating preliminary analysis. Ang sinabi ng preliminary analysis, hanggang yung delta ay equals to epsilon over absolute value of A. Pero it is not a unique delta. You can choose any delta smaller than epsilon over absolute value of A. Right? So, lagyan ko to ng equality para pwede nyo rin naman piliin na yung delta ay equal lang talaga sa epsilon over absolute value ni A. Good? Sige. Questions? While you're probably typing questions, I'll just write here, dapat palang A ay hindi equal kay zero. Kasi bawal mag-zero yung denominator. Okay? Good? All right. So, okay. So, yan yung gagawin ko. So, tuloy natin yung proof. So here we assume, gusto nating ipakita na kapag ka yung absolute value ng x minus c ay less than delta, anong gusto natin? We want to show that the absolute value of f of x minus L must be less than epsilon. Yan yung gusto kong mangyari. Alright? So ito yung gusto kong mapalabas eventually dito sa ating proof. But that will just be working the preliminary analysis backwards. Okay? Now, ano yung isang ginawa well, gawin ko muna, kapag ka yung x minus c ay mas maliit sa delta, pero si delta ay mas maliit sa epsilon over absolute value ni A, so ibig sabihin nito, yung x minus c ay mas maliit din sa epsilon over absolute value ni A. Tama? Kasi ito ay mas maliit sa delta, pero si delta mas maliit dito. So therefore, si absolute value of x minus c ay mas maliit sa epsilon over absolute value of A. Okay, is that clear? All right. And then what follows is what? I can multiply both sides by the absolute value of A, magiging less than epsilon. So, yes. Sir, palapit na tayo ng palapit dun sa goal. Remember, the goal is to have something like this. Kaya inuna ko na, dapat maging epsilon yung right-hand side. And hoping that this will be f of x minus L. But I already know what f of x minus L is. Nakita ko na yan kanina sa prelim analysis. So eventually, this will become what? Ang product ng absolute value ay absolute value ng product. So this would be A times x minus c less than epsilon. Tama? Tapos, okay, carry out the multiplication. Ax minus ac less than epsilon. Sir, stuck na ako. Ano na susunod dyan? Gusto natin absolute value of f of x minus L less than epsilon. Pero ano si f of x? Ito yung gusto ko kasi marating. So you need to have an idea what your goal is so that you know what manipulation should be done. F of x is ax plus b. The supposed limit is ac minus ac plus b. Right? Okay? Tapos, pag ito ay sinimplify nyo, well, ito rin yung nasa prelim analysis kanina, ax plus b minus ac minus b. And what do we have right now? We have ax there, minus ac. Oh, I got the minus ac. Ano lang ang kulang? Yung positive b at negative b. Pwede ba akong maglagay lang basta-basta ng plus b minus b? pwede kasi ang b minus b ay equal lang kay zero. So wala akong dinadagdag o binabawas doon sa expression, right? So mangyayari lang dito, mag-add subtract lang ako. Ax plus b minus b minus ac less than epsilon. Tama? Kasi ito lang yung dinagdag ko, pero yung suma total nung dinagdag ko, b minus b, zero lang yan. So this guy is still equal to this guy. So medyo, well, in-split ko lang siya, pero wala namang pandarayan nangyari, ano? Tapos ngayon, i-group ko lang yung mga terms by associativity of addition. We get ax minus b minus quantity ac minus plus b. Oops, plus pala to dapat. Minus epsilon. And this is exactly f of x. Ito yung f of x minus ac plus b, which is our supposed limit, less than epsilon. So ito yung L natin. Right? So this is the entire L. So we can say, therefore, ang limit ng linear function ax plus b as x approaches c ay equal lang sa ac plus b. End of proof. Okay, good. Any questions? Ubus na kagad yung oras ko, no? Everything's good, right? So now, this will allow us how to calculate limit ng linear functions. Ang limit lang pala ng linear functions ay yung function value. So example, so limit ng 2x plus 1, anyone? As x approaches 3. Limit ng x minus 1, ng 2x plus 1 as x approaches 3i. Thank you, Danica. That's correct. Una yata. Dami na nagsumagot, no? Bilis. Si Chris pala, no na. Thank you, Chris. Uh, the answer is 7. Limit ng negative 2 plus 5x as x approaches 0. O yan, habilisan. Sino nauna? Thank you, John. That's negative 2, right? So the lesson here is we simply plug in, lalo na kapag ka linear function lang naman yung involved. Okay, good. Right? Now, what do we do kapag ka naman mga sum na ng mga functions yung pinag-uusapan, right? So let's have that as our theorem 3. Okay. So here we suppose, if the limit of f of x as x approaches a ay equal kay L, and limit ng g of x as x approaches a ay equal kay m, then the following are true. Umpisahan ko na letter A, umpisahan ko na sa limit ng sum. Ang limit ng f of x plus g of x as x approaches a ay equal kanino? Saan nyo tingin ito ay maging equal? Thank you, Talia. The answer is L plus M. Great. So pag kinukunan nyo ng limit ang sum lang siya ng limits provided pare-parehas yung mga kinukunan nyo ng values. So kapag ang limit ng f of x as x approaches a ay L, ang limit ng g as x approaches a din equal kay M, yung limit ng f of x plus g of x as x approaches a ay equal rin kay L plus M. So ang limit ng sum ay sum ng limits. And I think nag-prove na tayo ng something like this, ano? When we dealt with limits of sequences. Tama nga ba? Right? So, i-reorganize ko lang yung proofs. So, hindi ko na medyo lalaliman kasi we have seen this before or a version of this before. So, sulat lang natin ditong proof. Okay? So, we let epsilon greater than 0. Okay, so since ang limit ng f of x as x approaches a ay equal kay L, then there exists, say, a delta 1 greater than 0 such that if absolute value of x minus a ay less than delta sub 1, then absolute value of f of x minus L ay less than epsilon over 2. Parang same trick as what we did before. Kasi ngayon, in-apply ko muna yung definition. Kasi part ng ating assumption ay ang limit ng fi equal kay L. So pag binigyan tayo ng kahit anong epsilon na greater than zero, for instance, epsilon over 2, makakita ko ng delta 1 na positive such that whenever this is true, then this will follow. Right? So yung epsilon sa definition, ginawa ko lang epsilon over 2. At kung matatandaan nyo, bakit ba epsilon over 2 yung pinili ko aside from I can choose this to be the right-hand side of f of x minus L because if epsilon is greater than 0, then epsilon over 2 is also positive, right? Dahil positive to, makakakita ko ng delta. Tinawag ko siyang delta 1. Okay? Now, in a similar fashion, so copy ko na lang to. So, also, also, ang limit ng g as x approaches a ay equal kay m, then may nag-exist na delta 2 such that if the absolute value of x minus a is less than delta sub 2, then ang g of x minus m ay less than epsilon over 2. Good? All right. Okay. Now, we will choose delta to be the smaller between delta 1 and delta 2. Why smaller? Kasi yung delta, siya ay, gusto natin maliit na number. Siya yung number na kung gaano dapat kalapit yung mga x's kay A para yung f of x ay maging malapit din kay L. So kung mas maliit siya, the better. So kukunin natin yung negative. Yung minimum. Why are we taking the minimum? Kasi if absolute value of x minus a is less than delta, then two things will happen. Kapag ang x minus a ay mas maliit sa delta, then first thing that will happen is that absolute value of x minus a is less than delta sub 1. Bakit? Kasi si delta, siya yung mas maliit sa pagitan ni delta 1 at ni delta 2. So kung yung x minus a ay mas maliit sa delta, tapos si delta yung mas maliit between delta 1 and delta 2, so dapat yung x minus a ay mas maliit sa delta 1. Agree? Naniniwala ba kayo doon? Dapat, di ba? Kasi si delta nga, siya yung mas maliit sa delta 1 over delta 2. So kung si x minus a ay mas maliit sa delta, so mas maliit to sa parehas na x minus a, mas maliit siya sa parehas na delta 1 at delta 2. Right? Pero alam na natin, kapag ka yung x minus a ay mas maliit sa delta 1, alam na natin na magfa-follow to by this statement from kanina. Kapag ka to ay totoo, magpa-follow ito. Eh, alam natin na ito ay totoo, so ito ay totoo din. Alright? And similarly, dahil ang x minus a ay mas maliit sa delta, mas maliit din siya dapat sa delta 2. At dahil mas maliit siya sa delta 2, dapat yung f of x yung g of x minus m ay mas maliit sa epsilon over 2. That came from here. Kasi sabi, pag nakakita ka ng ganito, magpa-follow to. Eh, nakita ko siya. So, nag-follow siya. Right? Tapos, sure na ako na totoo itong dalawang ididilaw ko. So, totoo na silang dalawa. So, pwede ko silang i-add. Right? So, hence, yung absolute value ng f of x plus g of x minus, di ba, yung f of x. Ano yung f of x natin na pinupurva natin ng limit? Yung f plus g. Minus, ano daw yung limit niya? L plus m. Gusto nating mapakita to ay, gusto ko mapakita less than epsilon yan. Right? Pero what should I use in order to get there? So, kailangan ko muna itong gamitan ng anong concept. Kita niyo to, nagamit ko na to before. For bonus points, ano yung concept na gagamitin ko? Anong trick or anong tawag dun sa gagamitin ko para magamit ko tong dalawa? Tandaan niyo ba? Okay, great. Thank you, Pia. Si Pia yung known na triangle inequality. Ito ay mas maliit sa magkahiwalay na absolute value na pinag-a-add. So, ang gagawin ko ngayon, purposely, pagsasamahin ko to at saka yung minus L, siguro para hindi muna nakakalito, sulat ko muna siya na f of x, unahin ko yung minus L, plus g of x minus m by associativity and commutativity of addition. Tama? Parang nirambol ko lang yung order nila. So pag in-absolute value ko muna to, tapos in-absolute value ko muna to, tapos saka ko sila pinag-add, mas malaki yung kesa sa isang absolute value lang. And that's a triangle inequality. So what we have right now would be f of x, or the absolute value of f of x minus L, plus absolute value of g of x minus m by the triangle inequality. Okay? And then, saan to? Uy, tanda ko yan. Yung f of x minus L, mas maliit daw sa epsilon. So ito, mas maliit sa epsilon, sorry, mas maliit to sa epsilon over 2. Ito, mas maliit din sa epsilon over 2. So yung sum nila ay mas maliit sa epsilon over 2 plus epsilon over 2. Pero ano bang epsilon over 2 plus epsilon over 2? Equal yan kay epsilon. Alright? So therefore, we can say ng limit ng sum as x approaches a ay equal lang sa sum ng limits and the proof. Alright? Good? Sorry, nagbukas ako ng Facebook bigla. Yun yung problema, no? Kahit ako natitempt din ako magbukas ng Facebook sa kabilang tab, ano? So, right. All right, so now let's see. Mhm. Okay, so another theorem. So let's call this theorem 3.b. The limit of the difference f of x minus g of x as x approaches a ay equal lang sa L minus m. All right. So ang limit and difference ay difference lang ng limit. So pag alam mo yung limit ng subtrahend at ang limit ng minuend, pag minusin mo lang sila, you will get the limit of the difference. Okay? Ganun din kapag ka limit ng product, limit ng f of x times g of x as x approaches a, ito lang ay L times m. So I will not present the proof for these. Medyo tricky yung proof nito. Yung proof nito ay kaparehas lang nung kanina. Similar to the proof of the sum. The proof of the product, the limit of the product is meron trick na gagamitin. Medyo hindi intuitive yung trick, so I'll skip that, ano? Pero believe me, totoo yan. No, parang proof by authority. Sinabi ko siya, sinabi ko siya totoo. So pumayag kayo na totoo siya, ano. But you can search the net for the formal proof for the limit of a product, ano. Pero it might be too not too intuitive for us at this point, so we'll leave it there. May trick na ginagamit, hindi siya straightforward. The limit of the quotient is the quotient of the limits provided yung usual nating disclaimer, dapat yung M ay hindi mag-zero. Okay? So ito yung mga mangyayari. Okay, let me see what are the other theorems that we can use before I give some examples. But do you guys have any questions? Sige, concrete examples muna. Let's do example number what? Nagre-reset pala ako ng examples, no? So, reset ko na lang yung examples. Example 1 ulit. For this particular theorem, for theorem 3, let's try limit ng 2x plus 1 times 1 minus 6x as x approaches 4. Sige, first to get the right answer. Bonus sa plus 1. Kung gusto yung mauna, pwede na kayo mag-unmute na lang. Kung mahirap mag-type, ano? 225. Oh, ba't magkaiba kayo? Sabi ni Mark Joseph, 225. Sabi ni Jairus, minus 92. Sino kayang tama sa kanya? So, anong gagawin lang? So, we simply take the... Uy, pati ba sagot ni Aaron? Minus 207. Mukhang napahirap pala yung binigay ko, ano? Oh, si Christine, iba rin, 207. Oh, pero parang marami na yung minus 207. Oh, that's fine. Ano? So, siguro na time pressure kayo. Ano? Pero ang hirap pala. So, magmumultiply tuloy ako ngayon. But essentially, we know that the limit of the product will be the product of the limits. So pwede natin kunin muna yung limit nito. Alright? Ano yung limit nito? Limit nito ay magpo-plug in lang daw kapag ka linear function. So the limit is 9 times, limit naman ng pangalawa, ito pala yung medyo mahirap, 1 minus 24, that's na minus 23. Huh? Oh, yeah, that's minus 23. Oops. Times negative 23. So that would be minus 207. So tama, 27, yeah, minus 207. Okay? So limit ng product ay product ng limits. How about limit ng sige, denominator 9 ko. 2x plus 6 tapos 2x minus 1 as x approaches. Ayan na, nagbukas na sila ng calculators. So, x approaches 1/2. Okay, si Christine ang nauna. Bilis. So the answer is 0. Alright, so yeah, kasi yung numerator, the limit is 0. The denominator though, ang limit ng denominator ay what? 7? So dahil hindi 0 yung limit ng denominator, theorem 3.d will apply. So basically we'll get 0. Right? Good. Eto na, medyo nagiging masaya na yung mga 36, hopefully. Kasi yung iba nakita na nila to nung high school, ano? Okay? Good. May nakalimutan pala ako dun sa theorems. Limit ng scalar multiple. So, part 2 nung limit, nung theorem, kadugsong to ng theorem 3. Ano? Ang assumption dito, ito, ay totoo. So, idagdag natin tong theorem 3.e. Theorem 3.e is limit ng constant times f of x as x approaches a equal lang to sa c times L. Right? Kapag ang limit ng scalar product ay yung scalar product ng limit. Okay? And I think we're ready for theorem 4. Actually, theorem 4 will just tell us that ang mga polynomials ay magagandang function. Magagandang functions, or they are nice enough functions. Nice enough that they allow us to simply plug in, and that is basically the limit. So the limit of p of x as x approaches a ay equal kay p of a if p is a polynomial. Okay? So if you want to prove this, kailangan nyo lang gamitan yung kailangan nyo lang gamitan yung theorem 3.e at saka theorem 3.a ng paulit-ulit. 3.a at 3.b. Kasi kung ang limit ng, well, marami ka pa palang kailangan, yung product. So, paulit-ulit na limit ng products at paulit-ulit na limit ng sum at paulit-ulit na limit ng constant. So, yun lang yung kailangan nyo sa proofs. Pero ang idea, I want you to take away from this theorem ay kapag ka polynomial ang kukunan nyo ng limit, function value lang din. Because again, just like linear functions, polynomials are nice functions. Ano? Nice ako ng nice pero naka-apostrophe yan. Kasi hindi ko pa sinasabi kung ano yung kailan nagiging nice ang isang function. Pero for us, nagiging nice siya kapag ka ang limit niya ay function value lamang. Alright? Kaya this will allow us to calculate, say, uh, sige, para ready uli kayo, no? So, sige. Tatandaan niyo kung ilang points na kayo ah. So, dun sa, aside from the first recitation, may points na lang yung unang nakakasagot. So, sana natandaan niyo kung na-recognize ko na kayo as the first nakasagot, ano. So, yeah. O, kung nakasagot na kayo or may bonus na kayo for today, wag na muna kayong sumagot. Ano? So you can answer, you can write your answer somewhere and then check it with what I'll say as or acknowledge as the final answer. Para yung iba naman makahabol, ano? Or magkaroon ng points or ng bonus points, right? So now, let's evaluate. Limit ng x cubed minus 2x squared plus 3x minus 7 as x approaches 2. Or quiz na lang pala dapat, no? Sabay ganun eh, no? As x approaches to negative 1. Yeah, negative 1 is correct. So, anong ginawa? Nag-plug in lang, ano? Pinalitan lahat ng x ng 2. So, I think Jansen got the first correct answer. So, yeah. Thank you, Jansen, and everyone else. Good attempts, ano? So, kasi nga, pwede yon. Ang function value ay siya rin na rin yung limits kapag ka polynomial lang yung pinag-uusapan. Pero pag hindi na polynomial, posibleng hindi na siya yung mangyari. Okay? Isa pa ba? Tama na yan. Kaya-kaya na yan, no? So, plug in, plug in. Okay, so Theorem 5. Tapos siguro pwede na magpa-homework mamaya, no? Let's see. Sige. Let's assume if the limit of f of x as x approaches a ay equal kay L and n is an integer. Oops. Well, wait. Hold on. Yeah, sabihin natin n is a natural number. Then the following are true. Number one, limit ng f of x raised to the n as x approaches a ay equal kay, what do you think? Saan kaya equal to? Kapag ka ang limit ni f ay equal kay L, pero ang kukunan mo na ng limit ay f to the power n, tama si Danica, ang sagot ay L raised to n. Okay? So, pag nag-exist yung limit, kukunan mo ng limit yung power, then equal lang to kay L to the n. Thank you, Danica and Christine. Now, limit naman ng nth root. Well, ito yung medyo may cases, ano? So, ang limit ng nth root ng f of x as x approaches a ay equal kay, well, ito ay equal, ano ko ba isusulat? Ito ay equal kay nth root ni L if n is odd or L is positive. So, totoo ito kung isa sa dalawa ay nangyayari. Kapag kasi n ay odd, totoo ito palagi, kahit ano yung L. Kasi magiging cube root, fifth root, seventh root, and so on, negative pa si L, meron yung value. Ano? Pero, kapag kasi L ay greater than zero, lagi rin itong totoo. Ang hindi lang siya nagiging totoo ay kapag hindi to totoo at saka hindi to totoo. Kailan lang yung mangyayari? Kapag kasi n ay even and L is negative, hindi ito totoo. Alright. Well, yeah. Kapag ka negative. Kasi magkakaroon ka ng, halimbawa, square root ng negative 3. Hindi siya pwedeng maging limit kasi hindi siya nag-exist as a real number. Okay? So the takeaways here would be powers and square roots are nice functions in such a way that pag ni-raise mo ang isang function sa isang power, then ang limit niya ay power lang ng limit. The same thing goes for radicals. Okay? Is that clear? Okay, so yeah, we have 4 minutes left. Well, there are some examples if you want to see some examples. So please take a look at the slides. Na-upload ko na naman yung Unit 3 slides. Ano? So you can take a look at the examples. So yung iba doon may answers na. Then you can solve it on your own first before taking a look at what the final answer in the slide is. I think tama naman yung nasa slide. Ano? So maybe I'll spend the next 10 minutes or so. Saglit lang guys ha. I-postpone ko lang yung, i-delay ko lang ng konti yung next meeting ko para matapos ko to. Kasi hanggang 2:05 naman tayo, ano? So, hold on. Mag-chat lang ako. But if you have questions, so type nyo lang habang nag-chat ako, no? Okay, so I think this is one important theorem. Let's call this theorem number 6. So if you have two functions, ano, so, how will I phrase it? Well, okay, if the limit of f of x as x approaches a ay equal kay L. So meron ng function f kunwari. Tapos ang limit niya as x approaches a ay equal kay L. Tapos, meron pa akong isang function. And g is another function such that f of x ay equal sa g of x for all x in some open interval containing a except possibly at a, then ang limit ng g of x as x approaches a ay equal rin kay L. Alright, so medyo himayin natin ng konti itong theorem number 6. So, sabi ng theorem number 6, kapag ka meron akong function f na may limit siya sa a, ang limit niya as x approaches a ay equal kay L. Tapos, meron pa akong isang function, tinawag natin siyang g, alright? Si g ay kamukhang-kamukha ni f. Lagi siyang equal kay f sa lahat ng x's sa isang open interval na nagko-contain ng a, pero posibleng hindi sila equal kay a. So basically, makakuha ka ng isang interval na malapit kay a na sila ay equal palagi, except possible at a. So kunwari, so, halimbawa, meron ako ritong function. Ito si g. Okay. So, halimbawa, ito si y equals f of x. Right? Tapos, kunwari, ito yung a. So, habang papalapit ako ng palapit kay a mula sa kaliwa, sasakay ako sa function, lalapit ako dito. Pag mula naman sa kanan, sasakay ako sa function, I will end up somewhere near here. So, meron siyang limit. Ito yung limit niya. Yung limit niya, ito si L. Okay. Pero, kunwari, meron pa akong isang function, si G naman. Si G ay, ang gulo rin niyang kumilos, ano? Pero, lagi na siya, madalas siya nagiging equal kay F, maliban lang dun sa, okay, diba, ito yung y equals g of x. So, ang sinasabi ng theorem ay kapag ka si G ay kamukhang-kamukha na ni F sa isang maliit na neighborhood na nagko-contain ng kay A o isang maliit na interval na nagko-contain kay A, meron ba yon? Well, meron. Ito. Medyo hindi lang obvious sa drawing. Dadayain ko ng konti yung drawing, guys. Kasi nung inano ko pala siya. Yan. Para sila maging kamukha siya. Alright. Dinaya yung drawing eh. Nag-overlap sila. So sa interval na to, yan sa nakadilaw, equal palagi yung f of x at yung g of x. Kaya nag-overlap yung mga graphs nila. Pero, hindi required na maging equal yung function value nila kay A. Dito, ang function value ni f ng kulay red ay equal kay L, itong limit na L. Pero yung kulay blue, undefined siya dun sa A. So kapag ka sila ay equal halos palagi sa mga x's na malapit kay A, na ang possible point of disagreement lang ng function values nila ay kay A, parehas yung limit nila. Right? Siguro it would be clearer if we look at some examples. Ano? So example, number one, limit ng x squared minus 3x over 2x as x approaches 0. Anong limit ng numerator? Sige, limit ng numerator. As x approaches 0. Okay, thank you, Georgette. Pia, Aaron, ano, pero nauna si Georgette. Georgette gets the 1 point. Ano? So that would be 0. All right. Limit ng denominator. Bilis ni Pia, ni Christine, ni Aaron, ni Mumies. So sino? Si John Patrick din. Sino sa inyo yung wala pang bonus? Pa-double check. Oh, well, yeah. O sige na nga, lahat na nga ng sumagot magkaka-bonus. For this question lang, kasi ang hirap na, sorry, ang hirap nang i-keep track, ano. So, ang daya-daya, pa-iba-iba yung rules. Ganun talaga, ano. So, the denominator also has 0. At nakikita nyo, nahihiya yung 0/0 kasi nilagay ko siya sa parentheses. Kasi hindi nag-exist ang 0/0. This is basically sa scratch paper, an indicator na yung limit ng numerator ay 0, limit ng denominator ay 0, hindi mag-a-apply yung theorem natin kanina. Ano yung theorem natin kanina? Ang theorem natin kanina, ang limit ng quotient ay quotient ng limits kapag ka ang limit ng denominator ay hindi 0. Hindi yun mag-apply kasi ang limit ng denominator ay 0. Okay. Pero, pwede ko itong isulat na limit din yan ng x times x minus 3 over 2x as x approaches 0. Wala akong ginawang iba. So, ito ay, ano lang to? Ito ay, nag-factor lang ako. Pero pwede ko itong cancelin at saka yung x sa denominator. So, as a function, ano yung magiging final answer ko? X minus 3 over 2 provided x is not equal to 0. Tama. So ito yung f of x, ito yung ating simplified form na f of x, pero ano yung original function natin? X squared minus 3x over 2x. And here we see that this function g is kamukhang kamukha ng function f except when x is 0. Kasi parehas lang yung value nila kasi nag-cancel ka lang naman ng x. Ano, ang pinagkaiba lang nila, the function f is not defined when x is 0. So sila ay parehas yung value ni f at saka ni g. Lagi silang equal. Maliban na lang kapag ka yung x ay equal kay 0. Pero ang sabi ng theorem number 6, kapag ka yung dalawang functions ay equal palagi or equal sila palagi sa mga x's na malapit kay 0 except possibly at 0, equal lang yung limit nila. Eh anong limit ng f? Anong limit ng x minus 3 over 2 as x approaches 0? Negative 3 halves. So by theorem number 6, yun na rin yung limit ng original function, negative 3 over 2. So thank you, Aaron, Ian, and Christine. Ano? So, sino pa yung walang bonus sa inyo? Parang si Aaron may bonus na, ano? So, yeah. So, si Ian, mukha yung magkakabonus. Parang lahat kayo may bonus na, ano? Okay, good. So, pwede palang ganon. Pwede ka munang, you can do cancellations before getting the limit. Kasi ang nangyayari lang pala, pag nagka-cancel ka kasi nawawala lang, nagkakaroon ka lang ng x not equal to kailan nagzi-zero yung denominator. Thank you, Ian, for saying na meron na siyang bonus. Ano? So, yun yung nangyari. So, ganito yung nangyayari ngayon. Well, ganun yung tool natin ngayon. Most functions are nice enough in the sense that their limits are equal to their function values. Well, ganun yung mga polynomials. Yung mga rationals, actually, pwede na rin natin yung ilagay. Consequence ng theorem, actually, hindi ko na isusulat kasi consequence yun ng theorem, what? Pag pinagsama ko yung theorem 3D, At saka yung Theorem 4, ang sasabihin nila ang limit ng rational ay function value kapag ka yung denominator ay hindi zero. So pag meron kang polynomial over polynomial, tapos yung limit ng denominator ay hindi equal kay zero, yung limit niya ay function value. So we can say that rational functions are are nice enough on their domain. Pero kapag ka nag-zero over zero, pag nag-plug in ka, nag-try ka ng direct substitution, tapos nag-zero over zero yung form ng limit. But again, as a reminder, this is not a proper mathematical form kasi bawal mag-divide by zero. Kaya nilalagyan ko siya ng parenthesis, bulong lang or marker lang natin yan, ano, na ang itsura niya ay zero over zero. For now, whenever you're dealing with a zero over zero, we simply try to cancel some common factors, and whatever the limit of the simplified version is also the limit of the original function. Okay, good. Sige, isa pa. Limit ng x squared minus 5x plus 6 over x squared minus 4 as x approaches 2. Sige nga. Medyo matagal pala, no? Or ayaw na magsagot kasi lahat kayo may bonus na. Okay, so Mark Joseph, yeah, you're on the right track. Mag-zero over zero siya. So, hindi ka pa pwedeng tumigil doon because zero over zero is not a proper number. Kasi division by zero is not allowed. So that's the form. Pero pag nag-zero over zero upon after direct substitution, we try to cancel some terms. So I think Georgette, Danica, Lucas, and Luis Andre got it. Christine, parang meron kang algebra error, ano? So double check, ano? So I guess here, when you try to plug in, you get zero over zero. So i-parenthesis nyo para hindi sabihin na, wala namang zero over zero. So it's just a marker for us. And then we try to simplify. So we factor it as what? X minus 3 times x minus 2 over x plus 2 times x minus 2 as x approaches 2. And then we cancel the x minus 2's. So sila yung simplified at yung unsimplified ay hindi lang equal kapag ang x ay equal kay 2. So ang limit ng original expression ay limit ng x minus 3 over x plus 2 as x approaches 2. And then now we can do direct substitution kasi yung limit ng denominator ay hindi na magzizero. Kasi yung limit ng denominator ay 4, limit ng numerator ay negative 1, so the limit is negative 1/4. Okay? All right, so I think I can stop here. So then medyo may ilan pa akong naiwanan na examples. So yeah. Any questions? Good. Pwede ba ako magpa-homework? Pero dahil baka abutin tayo ng bagyo, next week yung deadline, ano? So, or pagbalik na lang, what do you think? Ano ba yung mga puso na yan? Pwede magpa-homework, ano? Baka isumbong niyo ako sa OVCAA kasi. O bakit may sad react? Bakit umiiyak? Ewan ko sa inyo. So, may ganun eh, no? Sige. Oo nga, bakit? O sige na nga. So, lalong dumarami yung sinabi ko lang na may mga nagka-crying face eh. Alright. So, sige. So, try to answer some problems. Sige, practice na lang. Tapos, pagbabalik natin next week, hopefully makabalik tayo face-to-face next week. You can answer some more problems. Alright? Or we can have some quiz or something, a long quiz or something. Pili kayo, long quiz or homework? Talaga, walang boboto. O, di ba? None of the above. Kaya siguro kayo nagka-crying react kanina, no? Pero don't worry. Well, I'll probably give you a homework. Pero I'll be very lenient with the deadline. Ano? So, lalo na dun sa mga baka hindi maka-access ng internet. Kasi, kailan ba projected ng bagyo? Tomorrow, no? Parang tomorrow and the weekend. Pero hot weather daw now, right now. So, sabi sa aking feed. Pero yeah, let's see. So I'll give you a homework. Hopefully tomorrow I can upload something, ano. Pero for those who can access it, then good for you, ano. So pwede niyo nang i-download tapos pwede niyo sagutan offline. Kahit sa papel, ano. Tapos picturean niyo na lang later or ipasa niyo ng hard copy. But for those na hindi makaka-access nung homework, ano, just let me know, ano, sir, na walang kami ng kuryente or mahirap yung internet or ang hirap mag-aral sa bahay kasi medyo malakas yung ulan and you're worried about baha or something, you know. So just let me know. I'll be very lenient with the deadline. Pero if you can submit it early so I can give you feedback of how your work is, ano. So hindi ko isasara yung submission bin. It will be open. If you're lucky enough that you have internet and then you have electricity, you can submit it as soon as you finish your work, and then I'll just give you some. I'll check it right away. Tapos, so that you'll see, ano? So, kung hindi man kayo makasubmit kagad, that's fine. Pagbalik natin face to face, I can give you a couple more days to finish it. Ah, para doon, ano? So, kung hindi kayo sure, pwede namang wag muna kayo magpasa. Antayin nyo makabalik tayo ng face to face as mag-consult kayo sa akin. Sir, tama ba itong pinagagawa ko sa homework? Ano? So, I'll be happy to give you pointers before you submit the final output. But if you're sure about your answers, kasi napacheck nyo na kay ChatGPT or napagraph nyo na, napacheck nyo na sa classmate nyo, o nag-group study kayo na mukhang tama naman yung sagot nyo, as long as hindi kayo nagkopyahan, ano, that's fine. It's opportunity for you to use all the technology, but I hope that you're using it responsibly, ano. So, pero kung hindi talaga, kailangan niyo yung tulong ko or kailangan niyo ng tulong ng isang peer tutor na face-to-face, you can submit it after all the weather disturbances are done. Okay? So with that, thank you guys for joining me today. Kahit na biglaan yung patawag ng online meeting. If weather is still manageable tomorrow, I'll call for another online meeting, ano? But do not feel obliged to or required to attend, ano? Kung kaya lang naman. Kasi kung hindi, ipopost ko rin naman itong recording later. And then, of course, again, leniency for the submissions. All right, guys? Okay, so thank you and just wait for the announcements tomorrow. Bye. Have a good one. Ingat kayo.